Do I forgive my 24F husband 31 meters for hurting me? So me and my husband have been married for 2 years and together for 7. We have been having bedroom issues for about 3 months now, and it's mostly my fault because usually I'm not in the mood or I'm just tired. We get along great and rarely have issues. We had a small argument about me having certain freedoms and choices without his input and the bedroom issue. He said he was going to the store and would be back in 30 minutes at 8 p.m., but that turned into him coming home at 3 a.m. really drunk, crashing and banging through the house and up the stairs. I thought someone had broken in, but when I saw it was him, I just told him to take off his outside clothes and get in bed to sleep it off. A couple of minutes later, while I'm trying to fall asleep, he starts touching me and putting his hands down my pants. I tell him that I'm tired and to stop, but he doesn't and continues. He managed to get on top of me and pulled my bottoms off, and we start having sex. He put his hand in the back of my head and grabbed my hair so I couldn't move my head. I started reaching down to try and get him to stop, but he was pressed up against me. When he was finished, he just rolled over and went to sleep. He was always so nice to me, and I thought I married a good and respectable man, but obviously not. The entire time he didn't even speak or even kiss me. He just stared at me. In the morning he acted like everything was fine and asked if I wanted him to make me breakfast. I asked if we were going to talk about last night and he said yes. When we sat down to eat, he apologized for coming home late and not answering the phone and then coming home drunk. I told him I didn't care about that, and the only thing I cared about was him basically forcing me to have sex. He looked confused and asked what I was talking about. I told him everything and he started crying and apologizing, saying he would never do it again and would never sip another drop of alcohol. He begged me not to leave him, but I already have my mind set and asked that he give me space to think. I want to leave, but I still love him and really want to forgive and forget because things were good. But on the other hand, I really don't want that to happen again. He seems sorry, and I don't want to make a big life decision when my emotions are high. To be clear, this was rape. He raped you. You're also minimizing the other, minor problems. It sounds like he's controlling, an alcoholic, and a rapist. He raped you. You were 17 and he was 24 when you started dating. Clearly, an imbalance of power. I'd hazard a guess that pattern is throughout your relationship. Having exited an abusive relationship myself, would you like to know what my friends and family, who had tried to warn me about him, said? Not one single, "I told you so." Not a one. What they did say: "I'm so relieved you got out. There's no coming back from what he did to you. I'm sorry. He raped you. Game over." I'm honestly not sure how to respond to this. Babe, he raped you. Are you in the house with him now? Do you feel safe? I really think you need to leave and spend some time apart. Get some support from friends, family, a counselor, and possibly the police. Up to you if you want to stay married to your rapist. But if you stay, you will be raped again, over and over, until you leave. I feel like people are also missing the fact that he was 24 and she was 17 or just turned 18 when they got together. Let's just gloss over you having to ask for freedoms and choices without his input. We can also just glaze right over the fact that you're not in a mood, probably because it's hard to be attracted to someone who controls your life so much so you have to negotiate your freedoms. We can get right to the issue of him having straight up raped you in a drunken stupor. Now he's sitting here feeling sorry for himself because you might, absolutely should, leave. Literally pack your things. Go stay with a friend. It makes me so sad that women are hardwired to care about men in their lives more than their own safety. He's not crying because he raped you. He's crying because he's worried about what might happen to him. That's self-pity you hear in the other room, not remorse. You're married to your rapist. This is above Reddit's pay grade. He will use every trick in the book to convince you to stay, and how it'll be only a one-time thing. He may even successfully quit alcohol. But that doesn't change who he is and will not erase what he's capable of and what he did to you. You're in a tough position, but start with therapy for yourself. So me and my husband have been married for 2 years and together for 7. So you were 17 and he was 24. Location flag. He raped you. A drunk man's actions or a sober man's thoughts. We have been having bedroom issues for about 3 months now, and it's mostly my fault because usually I'm not in the mood or I'm just tired. He was sexually frustrated, that's why he acted the way he did. We had a small argument about me having certain freedoms and choices without his input, and the bedroom issue. Sounds like he is controlling you the way you put it. What do you mean when you say certain freedoms and choices without his input? He said he was going to the store and would be back in 30 minutes at 8 p.m., but that turned into him coming home at 3 a.m. He lied about his whereabouts too. If he was coming home later, he should have communicated that and told you where he was actually going. This how I see it. He lied about where he was going. Probably planned on getting drunk. And purposely allowed himself to get drunk so he can come home and force himself on top of you and then write it off as a drunken mishap. Location flag. He left your house and lied about where he was going. Got drunk instead. All choices he consciously made. Then came home and raped you. Leave. Update me. Bedroom problems are your fault because you're tired. Oh sweet op, no. You are not at fault for being tired. You don't owe anyone, even your spouse, sex when you don't want it. Ever. I'm so sorry. I hope the good people of Reddit help you see it's not okay for you to be treated this way. As others have already told you, he raped you. It also really looks like he orchestrated this in order to rape you and not face consequences too. Much of this is just too convenient on his end. The orchestration is actually scarier to me than the rape. Just a quick summary here, because maybe seeing it spelled out will help you. You have an argument about your bedroom issues. He makes an excuse to run out for half an hour. Instead, he's missing for 7 hours without communicating any change of plans to you. At 3 a.m., he comes home drunk enough his gross motor skills are gone, crashing and banging around the house. And his memory won't be intact, but conveniently not so drunk his fine motor skills, removing your clothes despite resistance, are affected, and still able to maintain an erection. Also, apparently the alcohol made his ears stop working, because he can't hear your protests either. The next morning, he presumably wakes up naked, but conveniently doesn't question this either, or what he can't remember from the night, and tries immediately to redirect the conversation to the smaller sins of not answering his phone and coming home drunk. Then, when you confront him, he manufactures an emotional outburst to shift your focus onto comforting him. Throw in big promises to quit drinking altogether, a convenient shift to blaming the alcohol instead of him, and it's really not looking good. Your husband raped you. And ISTG if a boy downvotes this saying, it's not rape. They're married. Your husband raped you. If he wasn't your husband, how would you react? He didn't just hurt you, he raped you. Please don't stay with him. He raped you. Period. We have been having bedroom issues for about 3 months now, and it's mostly my fault because usually I'm not in the mood or I'm just tired. Quote, there's no fault in not being in the mood or tired, though I can't speak further to this without elaboration of why you aren't often in the mood or tired. We get along great and rarely have issues. We had a small argument about me having certain freedoms and choices without his input, and the bedroom issue. Having to ask your husband about having your own freedoms and choices without their input is not a healthy partnership. It's just him controlling you. Please leave this man before worse things happen, and look into marital rape laws where you live, as well as counseling support to help you with this trauma. I am a man and I am here to confirm what others said, that this is rape. I was so uncomfortable just reading how rough and awful it was for him to do this to you. I'm so sorry. I've dealt with sexual frustrations and a lack of sex with my partner, but WTF, man. You can't rape your wife. You should leave, and I don't usually say this to people. It will get worse, and this was rape. If he remembered coming home late, he remembers the rape. He is pretending. The initial age gap followed by having to ask for freedoms are already concerning. Wandering in angry drunk at 3 a.m. is additionally a big warning sign. And then you just described straight-up rape. That's a lot to process. I can't tell you what to do, but I will say I don't think it's possible for you to overreact to something like that. That's very, very bad. No, I say don't forgive him. He basically raped you.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.